Welcome in, everyone. How are we doing this evening? I hope we're all doing well. Tonight, I didn't have a whole lot of focus topics to talk about, just some random crap that, kind of bothers me. So, one of the first things, it's a stupid little thing. But I really hate when people misuse white collar and blue collar jobs. It's not a big deal, but if you've ever been an actual blue-collar worker, lumping, retail workers and stuff like that in with blue-collar jobs, blue-collar jobs used to mean a trade, something that you had to go to school for a while, and then you had to learn for a while before you were even accepted as being part of the job. It's one of those things that I just think people misuse and misunderstand all the time. Because technically retail workers should be under white collar, not blue collar. Telephone sales, white collar. Blue collar was somebody that, worked, outside or in construction. They worked with their hands, not sitting behind a keyboard of some kind or another. And now it's even worse to me because, they use white collar as being way up here, when the majority of your white collar jobs are minimum wage jobs. They completely misuse it anymore. I know it's a stupid thing to be upset about, but to me, it's just we already denigrate the trades enough and we elevate white collar so high that it's just what are we doing? Your average person, there's nothing wrong with being on either side of that fence, but people treat one better than the other, and it depends on who you are, on how you treat it. They're both equal. One can't work without the other. That's the thing is that we need to respect both sides of that. Right now, trades are probably more important. Blue collar jobs are more important than ever before. It's one of the things that you can't just use an AI to get around. What's up, Green Jeans? Mechanics, you can't use AI to be a mechanic. Sure, robots might put cars together, but they can't work on them. Sure, you've seen fast foods that are run by robots, and it's who really wants that? What fast food joint can afford to do that? Because that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money investing in the robots, investing in the method of getting it all, because somebody has to invent the method too. And that process is also patentable. So it's just one of those things. It's people often mess up blue collar with white collar and how they talk about it. Anyway, how you doing, Green Jeans? You having a good night? Okay, that's kind of funny. I'm just saying that, white collar jobs, a lot of people don't realize that they're in white collar. Retail sales, any sales of any kind, that's a white collar job. Whether you're sitting at home on a phone through a keyboard, what I'm doing is a white collar job. It means you wear a white, you don't get dirty at work. Whereas blue collar jobs are ones you get dirty at work. Being a cook in a kitchen, that's blue collar. White collar, though, is also intermixed in restaurant, because white collar is the servers. What are the odds? I don't know. I haven't watched Mike Rowe in I don't know how long. Since Dirty Jobs, I think. I don't know what he's up to anymore. But he's running, and I agree. The trades are important, and we have weakened the unions. We have weakened what people think of when they think of blue collar jobs, to the point where you almost feel dirty having to take a blue collar job. And it's like, are you kidding me? Those jobs are some of the most important to this day. Data centers, right? The most advanced job we have right now. Everybody that's building them, everybody that's maintaining those things. Oh, nurses are abused, but they're also over elevated. Like, nurses put up with a lot of crap, but they also run things more so than people would really understand, and they're definitely not paid what they're worth. I will say that, but they also have a big head. I've known a lot of nurses, and they think they, can do whatever. They have just as much of a God complex as doctors at times, depending on the nurse. I will point that out, that's specific. But yeah, I mean, blue collar versus white collar. Like, white collar is shrinking right now. AI can easily take their jobs, which is funny because that's not what they're doing. Like, they're not using AI where its strengths are. Basic accounting, let AI do it. It's numbers. That's what they're built for. Managing a schedule, it's what they're built for. Trying to do anything in a creative or anything where people are hands off, it's not smart. But you can't, like, we still need like a lot of white collar jobs. We need a lot of people in white collar positions. But the large majority of them are just bloat. For an example, look at what Xbox had to do. When they were laying off a whole bunch of people, they realized that some of their game studios had 14 layers of management. 14 layers of management for a game studio. Now, I take this to mean that they had layers stacked, not side to side. Like, I mean, you have your graphics, like who's in charge of the artwork, the story, the gameplay. These would be parallel management, not up and down. Because of the way they worded it, that it had 14 layers to go through. Like, side to side, that makes sense. But that should be a pyramid. You have it all stretched out here. Like, maybe they had to take care of this region of the map and this region of the map, and they were different sectors. Of course you need management to manage those teams. But those managers shouldn't be one above the other. They should be parallel. If you understand what I mean. So if you have layers of management going up, something's seriously wrong. Like, dramatically wrong. If you have layers like that. Yeah, they just got Fallout pulled from them. Not that Obsidian's going to do any better. Anybody that did New Vegas is gone. Without rehiring the old talent, I'm not looking at Bethesda as being any good. I mean, they did the Outer Wilds, and look at where that is. Is it Outer Wilds? It's that Fallout-esque game. They also did Avowed, which I bought. I was excited to see it, and then it was just a dead world. There was I don't even think I ever finished it. I was bored. Like, the world just felt dead. So, Bethesda, yeah, they're in hot water. But so's Obsidian. Obsidian's now going to be forced to handle things that they're not built for. And this just goes back to something I was talking about before, about the biggest handicap that we ever suffered in gaming was MMOs. And taking I know a lot of people are going to hate me for this. Halo and WoW were the two biggest mistakes in gaming. Because what was the big pull to Halo? The multiplayer online. WoW multiplayer online. It's not even pay to win. It's not even I agree with you. Pay to win hurts my soul. But pay to win is the only way they can stay lucrative. See, here's the thing that those companies don't think about. I would say a good 60 to 70% of what they make in subscriptions has to be funneled back into these online-only games. For all of that updates, DLC, all of this stuff to keep your players playing. Because if you stop making new content, they stop playing. Which means they stop paying for their subscription. Which means you lose all of that money. But if you do a traditional game and you have it sit there, you play your game. When are you, Infinite? Hi, welcome in. It bloomed. Your flower looks cool. I was joking, Infinite. Don't take me seriously. But yeah, that's one of the biggest handicaps in games is online only. Because they have to keep spending money to funnel back into the game. Good. So they can never make a sequel. Because if they filter any of that money towards making a sequel, they lose their player base, which means they lose their subscriptions, which means the house of cards fall. That's why a lot of these games never got sequels. That's why games that we wanted have never been made. I saw a statistic, and I didn't have a chance to actually double check it, but it was 15 years from Elder Scrolls 1 to Skyrim. 15 years. And now we haven't had another Elder Scrolls game because most people don't count Elder Scrolls Online. I don't. In 7 years? Wait, no, it's got to be longer than that. We got to be creeping on 10 or 15 years now since Skyrim, and we haven't got a sequel. If I remember right, it was like 4 or 5 years ago that Elder Scrolls 6 was teased, and we haven't seen it. So, let alone Fallout. They haven't even properly remastered any of the latest Fallouts. Either Fallout 3 or Fallout 4 or New Vegas. I did hear that a New Vegas was coming, but I'm not sure now because Bethesda, yeah. So, the point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot going on that I think people don't really understand. One of the other things I wanted to talk about, kind of segues with this, was, just data centers. Data centers don't make sense. One, why are they taking up so much landscaping out that way? Why aren't they building them up? That doesn't make sense to me because you would actually have better heat distribution if you built them up. In a skyscraper format, you could take up a whole lot of less space. You could also reuse the water as it goes down because the heat rises. It would actually help a whole lot if you built up, just because of the way water works. Right? It's one of those things that it doesn't make sense. The way they're building them doesn't make sense. Until you realize that they're being built with redundancy in mind. And I don't mean redundancy in data centers themselves, but the building itself. It's built with redundancy in mind because they know they're going to fail. They're just buying the land. Number two, I still don't understand why they use so much water. Like, power makes sense. I get that. But water is one of the least efficient methods we've ever come up with for cooling our computer systems. Like, mine's just on solid block and fans. If you just build your construction right, you could use the whole building as a heat sink and get the heat away from it. Again, if you build up, this would work even more efficiently. Number two, refrigerants work so much better than water. And they're much more sanitary in the kind of, depending on the kind of refrigerants you're using. Even worse is that the heat it's creating can actually fuel the cooling if you understand how that all works. There's an old style of refrigerator, I think the Amish use it, where basically you use the equivalent of a propane pilot light, and it basically heats up a chamber, which creates expansion, which causes, it robs heat from the inside of the box, trying to cool itself off. It's hard to explain, but it's actually an old principle. It's used in RVs a lot too. And the very fact that the data centers are creating so much heat, if you create a chamber for that heat to go to and create a vacuum to pull it out of the room it's in, it can actually work. It's the same principle on how a heat sink on a computer works. For lack of a better way. I mean, I'm oversimplifying, but it's basically just using expansion. It's the same way that every refrigerator works. That's why you have to have a compressor. The compressor is actually heating up, compressing the gas. And as it goes through the piping, it's expanding as it grabs heat. Because the more something expands, the more heat it can hold. That's why hot air holds more moisture. Cold air doesn't. That's why when it gets cold, there's a dew point and it drops. It's like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but I don't know how much you guys know about the properties of expansion, contraction, water. Again, it doesn't make sense to do this in electronics, because the one thing electronics really, 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 really hate is moisture. So I don't understand why these data centers are using so much water. To give you an idea, Green Jeans, it's why the South is more humid than the North. Because the South actually is warmer climate, so the air can hold more water. Welcome in, EXO. But yes, humidity sucks. No. Bro, if they were secretly nuclear reactors, I would be happy. But if they were secretly nuclear reactors, why are they robbing so much power? Why green? Oh, you're responding to Green Jeans, I think. I don't know. I can't remember what the Y stands for. Y verde? And green. Never mind. Get it. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, you want to talk about nuclear energy. Well, I think I've already talked about it before, but the simple fact is that if you really want to power massive data centers with as little impact as possible, nuclear reactors are almost are a puzzle piece that's missing out of data centers. Like, they could literally work hand in hand. Don't be sorry. I am more than happy to learn. You have no reason to be sorry. Yeah, exactly. Spanish lesson. It's just, I know I started out talking about white and blue collar and how people often misuse them. You know, blue collars are trades. They're things you have to go to school for before you even can work out in the field. White collar are some things that you don't even really have to go to school for. You can, but they're so easy to learn that, you know, and I'm skipping over like lawyers and skilled professions like that. Chisme, that meant gossip, right? That's Gossip Girl. See, all right. I have a hard time learning Spanish. My wife says I speak it with a French accent, which is hilarious. And it's just because I learned French in school, not Spanish, because French was what was offered. Yeah, tell me I didn't go to like a super white, like a true Spaniard. No, I don't speak Spanish, you know, Spaniard. What is it called? European Spanish? But I don't know, you know, it's just one of those things that a lot of these things get stuck in me. Right? So, parlez-vous français? I mean, I haven't used my French in forever. I can't, you know, no thank you. Parlez-vous français just means do you speak French? Oh, okay. I'm like, no thank you. Okay. Don't mind you, you're sick. It's like the joke of, you know, what did he say when he slid down the hill? On his butt? Muchas gracias. Sorry, bad old joke. It's an old joke from junior high when, you know, the kid that told me that was my best friend, and, you know, his name was Jose Ramos. So, yeah, he was Mexican. But, I mean, that's the Spanish I know is, yeah, not necessarily one I should really repeat very often. I know quite a few swear words. And ways of saying things that politely, but they're still an insult. Well, I also know polite ways of telling. I'm trying to remember. There was a polite way. Something. Something in secret and requires you to encounter a person. Oh, okay. I'm just trying to parse out what little I can. Told her she secretly fell in love. Yes, it's with Flan. But I don't know, you know, I mean, I think I've talked about nuclear energy. I've talked about, you know, combining them with data centers before. Like, they are literally made for each other. De cela je ne parle pas français. Oh my god. I don't speak French very well, if I remember right. Or my French isn't very good, if I remember specifically. I mean, that's been since high school, so it's a long try. From what I remember, you did very well on that, because I know Je ne parle pas is like I speak. I speak. Parle pas. I need to boot up Duolingo again and do some French. Because I tried their Spanish, but like the Spanish on Duolingo really pissed me off once my wife told me what was wrong, why I was having such a hard time. They're trying to teach you every dialect of Spanish. Like some of it was European Spanish, some of it was Brazilian, some of it was this. And I'm like, is that why I kept getting it confused? Like when I thought I had a handle on it, it would change? But I was doing pretty good there for a while. But it got confusing. I mean, maybe they fixed it by now, but I know at one point it was like a mishmash of Spanish, according to what my wife told me. I can't remember the exact story, and my wife is probably going to kick me for this because she's told me the story so often, but her Spanish teacher was, like, back when he was in college, did a semester abroad, and his... I know pinche is not good. No sabe cómo enseñar español. So enseñar español bien. Spanish good? Freaking Duolingo does not teach Spanish well? Ha! I was close! I was close! See, I can parse it out. It's weird. It's a weird talent that I have. That for a lot of languages that I shouldn't have anything to do with, I can kind of figure it out. And I think that's because I've read so many books, I've learned so many things about English words and how much they borrow. Yeah, I wish I had had the money when Babbel was offering a lifetime subscription for, I think it was like $250. Like lifetime, you just get to use it for the life. Like, dang, I would have loved to have done that. Yeah, but Duolingo's free. Or it was. Well, like I said, you know, Babbel was for a lifetime. That wasn't for a year, that was for lifetime subscription. For $250. That's cheap. Okay. Sorry. Cultures borrow things from everybody. I'm not here to try to offend anybody, but a lot of what Mexicans and Latins consider their culture is actually borrowed from the Spaniards. Like there's a lot that they borrowed from their own native culture, but there's also a lot that is just borrowed from the Spaniards, the European Spaniards, the conquistadors, and, you know, their own colonizers. You know, like I said, I'm not trying to offend anybody, because a lot of what is Irish, you know, which is where my cultural roots come from, borrowed heavily from the English. Okay. Well, whether or not you're told that, do you fully understand that? Now, I'm going to be kind of walking across coals here. Colonizers aren't that bad. I know they get a bad rap, but that's how we get the fusion of cultures. Like, I'm sorry to say that, but that's how we get the culture we have today. I mean, you look at the Anglo-Saxons, because I'm white, that's where I'm going. They were conquered. So you have a mishmash of the original Gallic people who were from Gaul, which is French, sorta. You know, you have the Britons. 300 for the lifetime, by the way. Oh, $300 for Babbel. Not bad. I might try to save up some money and do that. Sharpen my brain. But that's how we get the languages we have. I mean, Spanish, French, Italian, what's the other? I know there's another one, but I can't think of it. Are all from Mediterranean. You know, they're a mishmash of Greek and Macedonian and Roman languages. You know, the Latin. Without that interconnection and interplay of all those cultures, then going down to Mexico and mishmashing with that culture and the original Nahuatl, there'd be a whole lot, I hope I said that right, there would be a whole lot of things we would be missing out of our languages. I mean, out of the English language, out of the European and Mexican Spanish. Is it called Mexican or Central American Spanish? You know, let alone all of the South American, Central American variations of Spanish. You know, without that fusion, without that colonization, even as bad as it was, I mean, it's just generally Latin America. Okay. So without that fusion, you wouldn't have the way that we have speaking now. I mean, just look at what's happening to the English language with the fusion of the Latin American Spanish. You know, we are kind of fusing a language together again. You know, in a couple hundred years, we'll probably have, you know, I don't want to say Spanglish, but there will be something that is, you know, a Latinx English language. You know, and not forced through Spanglish, but actually just through natural adoption. Well, we all do. I mean, while I'm not fluid in Spanish, no, the problem, EXO, I will say, is actually even worse, is when you really only know one language and you forget the word in it. Like, at least you have an excuse. Like, let's be honest here. And, you know, like I said, I'm kind of stepping on toes, but, you know, it's something I believe is that regardless of how damaging colonization really is in the short term, as long as you come to a mutual peace agreement, so to speak, between the cultures, yeah, it ends up for the better. Regardless of how everything got here, the sum of it all together is better than the parts. You know, I mean, and I'm not talking about like American exceptionalism. I'm talking about the people. The people fusing these cultures, because I really love Mexican food. Like, I mean, Mexican food. And I know it's not actually from Mexico. I know it's an Americanized Mexican food. As much as I love Chinese food, it's not really Chinese food. I hate to tell you, XO. Right, it seems accurate enough. But pretzel isn't an English word. That's German. So you are having trouble coming up with a word that's not even in any of the other two languages, or the root isn't even the other two languages you know. Because when you said twisted tortilla, that was where I went. Was like not a churro, but the cinnamon twists that I apparently need to have a good one. Because the first time I ever tried a churro, it was gross. It was wet. It was gross. Apparently they're supposed to crunch, and I didn't know that. I just thought it was like a weird donut. So I've never tried churros again. I just thought it was something I didn't like. Even though I loved most of the things from the Pandero. Please tell me I said that right. The bakery, the Spanish bakery that was in town where I lived. Like the big bun of bread with the pink frosting on top and cutting off. Oh, that is so good. In more ways than one, Infinite. In more ways than one. There's a lot of things wrong with me. Ha! Thanks for defending me, Greenie. Oh. Even though I'm not a huge fan of apple. But I do love apple pie, go figure. Also, my mom used to make these things called apple pancakes. Which, come to find out, was like a German dessert. And it's like you make a crepe batter. I could be completely wrong, but it's like a thin pancake. And you put the sliced apples with cinnamon and sugar and you bake it. So good. It's like a breakfast style apple pie. I'm trying. It's the apple pancake I was just talking about. It's Apfelkuchen. Yeah, it's literally German apple cake. And you just, all you forgot in that Infinite was the A-P-F-E-L. Apfel. Apfelkuchen. So, how I know that is one of my best buddies in Southern California. His family was extremely German. In Dutch. Because I don't think you are Dutch. Or sorry, Deutsch. I know probably a lot more German than I like to admit. Because I really like the band Rammstein. The earlier word. And some of it got a little off, but I really do like quite a bit of their work. I mean, Rosenrode is one of my favorite stories of theirs. You know, talking about the uppity girl who would only take the flower from the highmost cliff because it has the nicest red. The Rosenrode, the red rose. He climbed and died and she had no pity. Typical German story. But anyway, the reason why I know so much about German is because, you know, let's just put it this way. His middle name was Udo. U-D-O. So I learned a lot of little German things. He was a cool kid. I wish I could have gotten back in touch with him, but he's like me. He doesn't do much social media. So it's really hard to get back in touch with somebody. But his grandmother was first generation. Or no, she wasn't even first generation. She immigrated over. Which is really hilarious when you realize that her second husband, Hizoma, that her second husband was full-blooded Japanese. And we all called him Uncle Al. So you had full-blooded German, full-blooded Japanese. Yeah, it was interesting. And they both immigrated prior to World War II. And I can't remember how they met, but there was some story behind it. They were friends, and then her husband died. His original Opa. Opa? I can't remember. He died before he was even born. It was Opa. I was trying to figure out. Right. Well, I'm assuming most of y'all are good, because you guys are more southern than I am. Well, except for you, Green Jeans. You know, I had my nasty storms, and I think we're mostly over them now. I mean, they really got to stop doing these cloud seeding things. Look at all the problems it's causing. Wait, what? I'm glad he didn't work at the theater anymore. And work must really be kicking his ass. Actual freaking tornado. Damn. Well, I'm glad that I live where I do and in what kind of housing I do. I don't think I'm going to have tornadoes here. Or even if they do, place is pretty strong and they shouldn't be, and the tornadoes themselves shouldn't be very strong when they hit. Oh yeah, I totally get it. Oh, I don't know, you know, it's just, there's so much going on with everything. I tried to look up stuff to like really kind of like watch and, you know, to talk about tonight, and I couldn't find anything happy. It was all depressing. And I didn't want to do that again. I want, I don't know, I just want to like a little bit lighter subjects. You know, everything seems so depressing lately. And I like to look for solutions. And the problem is I can't see too many. That I would choose as solutions. You know, I mean, you look at, I mean, normally I would revert to talking about gaming, but that's been not very good lately. Gaming has been pretty fried. And I don't like it. I don't like talking about gaming right now because I struggle to find even a game I want to play for myself, let alone for anybody else. You know, for stream. You know, I have a few in the backlog, but anything new, it's boring. Like they're the same story over and over again. Like I didn't realize, I was seeing clips from a video game. Hey, what's up, Jade? I was watching a video that I thought was about RE9, I think was the newest one. And it ended up being like one of the older Resident Evils. And I'm like, wait, what? So apparently they had very similar game, even though I really liked watching Resident Evil 9 and Ghost play it. I was absolutely baffled that the game looked almost identical to a previous one. I think it was 6 or 7, but don't quote me on it. I don't know. And you know, that's kind of where I am with games, is that I've gotten old enough that they become the same. I look at them all these games, and they all pretty much the same thing. You know, but it's also like movies. It's hard to find a movie that really is different than what I've seen before. You know, that's what I really liked about Obsession. That's what I really liked about The Backrooms. Is that they're really good movies in their own right, but what elevates them even higher is that Salt and Soul Pocket Chef's Adventure. Nope. Is it a cooking game? But you know, and that's how the other part is that the mechanics are all the same. Like, I grew up on Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Cooking game, I am toast. No, I am not. Like, I'm not big on the cooking games. I played a few, and they're not fun to me. You know, it's hard for me to get excited about newer games. Like, I keep trying to look, but a lot of them don't call to me anymore. They're either the same thing over and over again. Like, there's a few that like are really good, but after a while, they get boring. You know, I love Repo, but it requires multiple people. You know, there's a lot of games that I actually really like to play, but I need to have bigger groups to play them. And I'm really excited about Hytale, but you know, it needs to, you know, I'm not trying to rush them, but it needs to be finished before I can really dig into it more. I mean, Ghost and I have pretty much done what we can with Hytale other than just build, which I am not opposed to. I'm not opposed to just going through and building another place. I have no problem with that. You know, but when it comes down to actually adventuring in the game, we've already done most of it. I mean, it is still in early access, so it's not like it's a bad game. It's just got a ways to go. You know, like when I played Radiolite, that was a beautiful game. Well done. But it was short. You know, it's kind of hard to make a series out of a short game like that. Again, not critiquing, because I don't know how much more you do. If I was them, I would either pick up with the daughter that was left, or the grizzled chief, as they try to figure out what happened to Ethan, which I think would be a great story. You know, there's more story to be told there, and I think it's worth it. You know, finding some way to actually break the circle, break the cycle of constantly putting somebody in that position just to get the other one out. Because there has to be a way to break it. You know, but that's my thought process. How are you doing, Jade? You having a good night? I hope. It's okay. Okay. No, I perfectly valid. Now that the storms are basically done for now, I'm feeling a lot better. I'm doing good, like I just said. Brain's more awake. I'm feeling more on my game. But mostly I'm just chatting tonight. I didn't really set up anything ahead of time just because, like I was just telling everybody, you know, it's just... I don't want to make more problems. You know, or you make people depressed, and it's really hard right now because there's not a whole lot of good going on. I mean, you know, which, you know, is sad. I've never got into the Kingdom Hearts games, and I can't imagine it's going to be any good. Like, I played them. I mean, they were kind of fun. I played the first one. But to me, it just felt like a wannabe Final Fantasy. But because it was made for kids, it had no edge to it, so it wasn't as much fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was an edge to it. But Disney's just not going to do things that other games would do. You know, actually put in peril, you know, certain characters. Like, you know, if you do it wrong, there might be consequences. It's just like... It's like the new Fable coming out. I am not enthused at all. I mean, come on, Microsoft has screwed up so many things. I love Fable, but the last Fable we got wasn't very good. It was okay, but it wasn't the game changer. It wasn't the epic story that Fable won. You know, and... yeah, I mean, Fable was a brilliant game. It was one of the first games where your choices were persistent. What you did mattered in the end game. You know, and I didn't feel that with the other... I think Fable 2, it was okay. But I honestly don't remember it. I remember, what was it, Fable 3, where they went more steampunk? And I remember just being disappointed from the get-go. It didn't feel like Fable anymore. Well, and it's just like with GTA 6. I'm not really that excited about it. With the way the gaming industry has been going, I don't think it's going to be very good. And the fact that they are doubling down on not giving you a physical disc, even if you want it. You know, plus having certain things. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember. Okay. But, you know, GTA 6, not enthused. I'm not even excited. I thought I would be. But with how watered down everything is and with how much of a cash grab everything is, I'm not excited for GTA 6 at all. You know, we have to pay this like $100 price tag if you want to get the whole game at launch, all because they decided to put $500 million into the budget for the game. That's not my fault. That's not my fault that you bloated the budget. You have to prove to me that that budget was worth it. I have nothing to prove to you. I've bought the other GTAs, other than the, you know, GTA 5 MMO cash grab, which is where I really fell off. Was it 5? 4? Yeah, 5. So, I mean, I'm not touching that one. I'm not happy with Rockstar. But The ad's about to run. I'll be right back. See you guys in 5.
Camping all the more makes me feel great to my core. How does life become so bland when below the sky so grand? While on this lonely path I escape anxiety's wrath. The towers are tall, the rangers keep it all. How does life become so bland when below the sky so grand? While on this lonely path I escape anxiety's wrath. The towers are tall, the rangers keep it all. Up in the divide, I found and abide, a path above the clouds. Each year I take my rounds. Up here you breathe clear, up here everything is near. I avoid the loggers, they drink too many lagers, pursue and run with their axes. Keep to the trail and they relaxes, but all the time they watch, making paranoia hatch. What tales do the mountains tell? All about the people who fell. Do they have protectors to keep away the infectors? Can they push against the sky, up where eagles fly? It got to me one night, woke up in a fright, eyes in the night, couldn't wait for the light. I ran and ran, waiting for the bite, all was dark to my sight. Ran to a ranger's tower, looking for a radio, no power. What do? Feel so sour. Nerves raw, plants they did scour. Skin on fire, man, I need a shower. Mind feels so devoured. When light shone, the land was unknown. I was in the mountains, surrounded green fountains, trees so tall. Above it all, couldn't feel nature's call. What tales do the mountains tell? All about the people who fell. Do they have protectors to keep away the infectors? Can they push against the sky, up where eagles fly? Up in the divide, I found and abide, a path above the clouds. Each year I take my rounds. Up here you breathe clear, up here everything is near.
Falling through, lifting up, 90 degrees to everywhere. How do you stop? Get out of there. Going sideways, leaving for days. Walking in your home, feeling all alone. Suddenly you're not there. You are in some other where, outer wilds of reality, the back rooms of the mind. When did you get here? How long have you been here? Why this place? Have you been around? drifting through the cracks in reality. Suddenly I see an elevator with a key. Is this for me? I push the button.
And I'm back. And yeah, Greenie, that sucks. Is there any way you can change? Or is it too late?
How do you stop? Get out of there, going sideways, leaving for days.
Come on. I wanted to sit down. But I don't know, I mean, there's just so much. It's so difficult sometimes to really get a handle on joyful stuff. Going to Arizona in November. Okay. How well can you guys hear the music? Is it too loud? Is it just right? Yeah, I am actually kind of worried about your rig, Jade. But I also know that you just need a break from things to stop happening. Just a break. It's not that any one of them can't be handled. It's the fact that things keep piling up.
Was to be comfortable. I was given a task to make things more stable.
My poor chair. But, I right? A filler episode. Nice. Oh, speaking of that, I heard one of the weirdest things. Sorry, filler is what made me think of it. So apparently they've okayed using dead people's fat as filler for cosmetics, for cosmetic surgery. Like using dead people fat? What? Gross. I mean, like, well, to me, it's super surprising, Green Jeans. I mean, that's a fast track to a prion disease, and one that we hadn't seen yet. We have Crutchfield-Jakob, which is when you eat too much nerve tissue. But people forget that fat cells store a whole lot of stuff from the body. That's what they do. They store stuff. Like, how are you going to put somebody else's fat in your face and have your body not reject it? I mean, like, what's going to happen in the long term? I mean, it's supposed to be a living cell. There's supposed to be an exchange with it. Like, I mean, we have problems with rejection from organs. Now you have thousands of loose cells. I'm really confused by that, because I thought adipose tissue was a living tissue. But now you're pulling it out of dead people and putting it in your own skin. I mean, I'm sorry, maybe I'm just being weird here, but isn't that like a fast track to a zombie apocalypse? You're putting dead tissue, so if the body does incorporate it and use it, it's found a way to take dead cells and keep them going.
Now I wanted power, the ability to control,
Maybe.
make them all cower, me to extol.
Oh, well, and it's one of the reasons why I think cosmetics is one of the most insidious industries. Like, I don't know how people use them. Right. Yeah, they did eat mummies, and they've made animals, and that's why cosmetics, like, that's why I don't touch them. I mean, my wife doesn't use cosmetics, like, because there's no healthy way to source it, because every time you think you did, you find out some scandal that they were lying to you. And half of them don't even have to tell you the ingredients. Half the people that are trying to do the right thing and, you know, source good ingredients find out that their source was bad. I use shampoo and conditioner. I mean, there's not much I can do that side of it. So, I mean, I guess that is a cosmetic. I apologize, yeah. I have a beard butter that I get from Fable Beard Company. Which, by the way, if you have a beard and you want to take care of it, Fable Beard Company is the way to go. Okay, oils are natural. You're right. The problem is the source of those oils. Because most of your oils, they don't have to tell you what's in them. Like from essential oils to, you know, scented oils. You have to trust who you're getting it from. Because they don't have to tell you. They can tell you whatever as long as it smells right.
Oh my.
Yeah. You know, but beard oils and cosmetics like that aren't nearly as bad as makeup. Makeup uses metals, they use heavy metals, toxins. I mean, half the reason probably why women have to go through so much skincare routines is the makeup they use. And they don't really have a choice. I mean, remember, originally makeup was derived from animal fats and bug carcasses. You think I'm joking, but look at some of the original makeup that was used like in Egypt and all of that. Meow? Meow. Hi, babies. You know, I mean, the things we do for fashion, I think, are ridiculous. That anybody does. Like, there's a fine line between taking care of yourself and going too far. Like, most people I know just take care of themselves. You know, yeah, they might use a foundation or something like that to smooth, you know, their pores or whatnot. But also remember that if you're smoothing your pores, you're clogging your pores. You're creating more breakouts. You're creating more reason for your pores to expand rather than contract. So you're actually, long-term, just making more of a reason to wear makeup. You know, we worry way too much about the looks of things. Yeah, that's coming from me, you know, the fat bald guy from the internet. We worry too much about what we look like. I don't worry that much. I worry about how healthy I feel. You know, I wear camo shorts because they were cheap and from a brand I respect. Right. I'm not trying to shame people for using makeup. I'm just trying to say that, well, everybody's so down bad on AI, yet, you know, they'll use Instagram filters and stuff or whatever filtering they use on their pictures for wherever. What do you think's doing that? It's AI. You know, AI is what you're using to make those filters work. You know, I mean, people just really don't understand. Oh, yeah. And how do they do that? They make them self-conscious about the way they look, about the way they talk, or about, you know, whatever. How heavy they are, how fat they are. What's more important is how healthy you are. I'm a fat guy that the doctor can't find anything wrong with me anymore. You know, I'm 340 pounds. Yet my doctor's like, well, someday your knees are probably going to give out. Yeah, probably someday. Right. I mean, and the problem is that those are actually some of the most dangerous too. Lipstick and eyeliner. Because if it's got any toxic chemicals in the lipstick, you're eating it. You're eating it all day. Eyeliner, your eye has its own immune system different than your body's. One impurity and you've got an eye infection that may actually take out your eye. No. Yes, hi babies. Do you want to be picked up? You want to be shown off? No? Nope. Okay. No, but they're more insidious because arsenic comes with, you know, gives you a certain hue. Lead gives a certain hue, good coverage. Like you start learning more about how these makeups work and get some of the colors. It literally causes, well, it's kind of like jerky. Henna, I think, is all natural. I think henna is actually all natural. Now, whether or not it's good for you, I don't really know. Anthrax. I don't think anthrax has a unique color property, but I know like cyanide, arsenic, those have unique color properties, which are often found in makeups. You know, let alone, I mean, we're all worried about microplastics, and yet, you know, we put glitter on our face. What do you think glitter is made out of? It's probably better for you. Yeah, but I mean, microplastics, that's what glitter is. Because it can't be metal, because if you cut metal that shiny, that small and everything, it's gonna cut you. I'm just saying. I can call you out all I want. To be perfectly honest, right? I'm not, it looks good. Well, of course they use scarabs. The Egyptians did everything with scarabs. But yeah, I mean, it looks beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But why does it look beautiful? Well, how about we talk about that? Why do we think that looks beautiful? Well, that's even better. But what tells us that that's beauty? You know, and really think about that. You know, why do we think that these things... Most people love red hair because it's one of the rare colors. So you must have like a deep brown, like to black. And you're probably out in the sun a lot more than you used to be. If you use a natural henna wash, depending on the color of your hair, you can at least get red highlights out of it. My wife did that once and it took a long time for it to come out. Well, you may not believe it, but when I used to have hair, I was basically honey blonde. Figure that out. You know, you look at how black this beard is, and yet I used to have honey blonde hair when I was a kid. You know, now I'm bald. I used to be blonde and now I'm bald. You figured it out? Like, I really want to know, you know, about the glitter thing. Who thought it was a good idea to put fish scales on yourself? I don't have any gray hairs. See? None. That's a joke, by the way. Obviously, I have gray hairs. I don't have any gray hairs up here, though. Yeah, now I'm mead. Yeah, it makes sense. Got a little older, got a little bit more vinegar to it. I've actually made homemade mead once. Man, that was good. Need to do it again. I would actually need to get the supplies so it'd be ready by Thanksgiving. That ended up actually being really good. Oddly enough, it was from the Skyrim cookbook how I learned to do it. Which is funny because somebody bought it for the wife for Christmas one year. Was that you, Jade? No, you're the one that got her the Fallout cookbook? Or was it the Skyrim? I know one buddy got her the Fallout cookbook and somebody else got her the Skyrim, but I can't remember who did what. Either way, I've used it several times. Right? I don't remember either. But yeah, I used that to make the mead. That was really good. All right, yeah, actually, that's more common than you might think, Infinite. Yeah, you guys got the Tales from the Crypt series, which I still have sitting over there. Well, yeah, I mean, but also just as you age. I mean, remember, I was starting to bald basically in my teens. By the time I was 21, I just... Well, I started buzzing it all off before that, but this just kept going. I don't know, you know, I mean, it's one of those things that I noticed none of you guys responded to me saying, you know, who thought it was a good idea to put fish scales on your face? Because, I mean, where else did we get the idea for glitter? You know, just imagine, you know, some people way back when, you know, scaling fish and seeing how the scales would like get everywhere. If you've ever scaled fish, you know. Get everywhere, and it's like, oh, that actually looks cool. So they just decided to keep going. And now we have glitter. You know, I mean, I don't think people really think, yeah, shiny scales, iridescent colors. You know, people don't really think about how we got here, how we got all of this. Why do we consider it pretty? Why do we consider it something to be had? You know, it used to be because it was rare. Well, this stuff isn't rare anymore. Now this stuff is commonplace. So why do we still value it? I mean, it's like people wearing high heels. Why? You know the damage it's doing. Like platforms is a different matter. You know, it keeps your feet relatively flat on a flat plane. Like even a little rise. But when you're starting to go like that, you're putting all that pressure and damage into your feet. Yeah, what's up, Ninetales? Well, and that's what I'm saying is scales equal fish. You know, I mean, you're right. And that's probably where glitter came from. You know, it's just an evolution. You know, same thing with makeup, to be honest. I mean, makeup used to be used to hide diseases. You know, those fancy wigs they used to wear were to hide the fact that they had lice. You know, and such infestations that they couldn't even keep their hair. You know, most of our beauty standards come from diseases. Right? Yeah, the pearl, mother of pearl and oysters. You know, I mean... Oh, nice. I don't know. I think I could think of some Simpsons fans that might want a jaundiced look. Just kill your liver. You'll get it real quick. Hotbed beats. Yes. You know, no problem. Not sure really how to kill the liver because it's actually one of the more resilient parts of the human body. Surprisingly enough. Although they found a way to give us all fatty liver disease, so there's that. You know, hyper packing sugar into everything. And salt. Yeah, drug and drink. Yes, hi. I'm still working. Why are you so needy? Why are you so needy? I mean, especially when you won't let me pick you up and show you off. You're being a butt. You know? Yeah. What? What? Sorry, she's being a pill. She wants pets. So I'm gonna sit here, you know, like barely on camera. See, this is why I'm saving up money for the advanced camera that will follow my face. No, her water's fine. I just refilled it at dinner. I actually checked that. I am a good drug and drink. Yeah, the weekend plans. Well, I mean, technically that could just involve sugar and, you know, a couple of beers. So excited for the weekend. What's going on this weekend? I'm curious now. Oh, I gotta wait another weekend for that. You finally get to see your friends. Nice. FIFA final? Could care less about it. Sports ball. I don't care what sport it is. I am a rarity for a man my age. I cannot stand sports. I think they are ridiculous wastes of money. I'm sorry. And that's coming from somebody that played football in high school. I mean, I'm happy for you. But I will never understand why people care so much about sports. I wish. I wish I could get it. Even as a kid, I only ever watched the Super Bowl for the commercials. You was planning on games Saturday night? Cool. Well, you're right about that because they're all scripted. Like, if you really think what's going on the field is not planned in some way, Okay, well, that makes sense. I don't know. Seeing how seriously some people take sports really bothers me. You know, I watched family members ignore their family so they could watch a football game. Or basketball was another one, or baseball. I mean, cities will rally around people who can use a ball well, whether with their feet, their hands, or hit it with a baseball bat. You know, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Like, there's nothing really special about what they're doing. Anybody can do it. Sure, maybe not to their level, but I can hit a ball with a bat. I know, I used to do it a lot. I used to play, like, if I'm playing the sport, I'm having fun. You know, I've played football, I've played golf, I've played basketball, baseball, soccer. I've played them all. And I've enjoyed them all. But I never wanted to watch somebody else do it. And I don't understand, you know, why living vicariously through somebody else's activities is such a big deal. You know, I don't know if you guys understand, but it's not you doing it. Why do you care? You know, I mean, can somebody explain it to me? I'm not trying to call anyone out. I'm literally asking. I don't understand it. I mean, how much money is wasted at high school and junior high level on sports? You know, in favor of that, you know, you'll get academics like lessened because of it. You know, football players will get special tutors, but they don't do that for the kids that are actually struggling, that actually need the help. That if the football player or, you know, the sports player actually cut back a little bit on the practices and actually focus more on their studies, they may have actually, you didn't need the tutor at all. You know, even worse is the scam of telling people that, you know, oh, it might be your only way out of poverty. Yeah, 1% of people actually make it. How does it build a community feeling? No, XO. If I'm being mean, I'm sorry. That's not what I mean. I'm not trying to call you out. You would just mention FIFA. You mentioned the World Cup. And I'm not trying to... Oh, okay. Like, I'm not trying to, like... I'm trying to understand sports. You know, it builds a community feeling. How does it build a community feeling? Well, yeah, you're trying to go out and see your friends. That's great. I applaud that. Go out and visit your friends. I'm trying to understand how sports builds a community feeling. You're not the one on the field. You're not the one doing it. Like, how does... I don't understand how it... Well, I don't think you do. To be honest, I just saw the teary-eyed emoji. And, you know, I thought maybe I was going too hard. Yeah, but you'd never do that for science class. When was the last time you held a bake sale for the math class? What do you mean, why can we? Better equipment. Yeah, why don't they do it? Why don't they do it? Because they're already too busy doing. I mean, there's a booster club for sports. Sports already gets money from local businesses. And then they also siphon you your time and effort to do the bake sales. I would not host a science party or a watch party for Bill Nye the Science Guy. He wasn't very good at science. He wasn't very good at educating people in science. Hank Green? Yes. Well, yeah, all parts of education need support. Okay. But why do you build a $13 million stadium for your sports teams, and yet the science class is using 1960s microscopes? Sorry, probably by now 1990s era microscopes. Band. But see, I think band is more important than sports. Well, but people spend billions of dollars. I mean, the American public spend billions of dollars a year on sports. I mean, how many stadiums are there across the United States? How many sports schools are there? You know, I mean, and the higher academics class, you know, schools are called the Ivy Leagues. Even they have sports teams. Why? What does sports have to do with learning at all? Why is it synonymous with school? I mean, your university, pick one, spends probably a large portion of their budget just on sports. Think about the stadium and the parking lot that they have to maintain. Or the gym that they have to maintain. What do you learn from it that's academic? I realize I'm fighting an uphill battle. True. But it's not going to stop me from asking the questions. Like I said, I played sports. I love playing sports. But I don't think it belongs on TV. I don't think it belongs in our schools. I mean, I saw it from the inside. I passed tests I shouldn't have. Hell, I did some of them I don't even remember taking. But because I was needed on the sports ball field, I don't know what happened. Somebody took the test in my name. Maybe it was the teacher. I don't know. I mean, I knew I could pass it. My grades didn't really suffer. I was just busy. You know, and it's one of the biggest things that I've always complained about. Well-rounded person. How does sports make you well-rounded? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying... And there's a problem right there. Bell curve grading system. Right. Well, I'm just saying, you know, how does sports make you well-rounded? Now, physical education is important, but I think physical education should be more about aerobics, learning how to stretch, using how to use your body. I mean, think about it. They're all teens. They're going through growth spurts. They barely even know how to walk without tripping. I know, I was one of them. And yet you want them to do one of the most damaging things they can do to their body, sports. I mean, I've got a buddy that's 24 years old, played soccer. Martial arts would have been cool. And it would have taught you a whole lot. Would have taught you discipline, control. Trust me, I know. Sports doesn't teach you that. Yeah. Gym teachers were horrible. Well, most gym teachers were the ones that, failed at everything else, but they still had the education degree. Which, don't get me started on education degrees. Yeah, but sports in and of itself siphons how much money out of your pocket? Do you know how many gym teachers I knew that were pervs? I also used to be able to run 2 miles in about, 10, 12 minutes. Cross country. I was in martial arts. I did a whole lot of things. I did ballet. I mean, shoot, teaching dance would make more sense in school than playing any sport. I think sports should be rec leagues. But I've got a 24-year-old buddy, 25 this year, sorry, who blew out his knees and ankles. He's 25 and he can't walk around as much as I can. Because they pushed him so hard in the leagues.
The struggle is real, I just don't seem to care. Bombarded by dreams I don't share. What would I want?
Right? Oh, I haven't known a gym teacher that wasn't a perv of one kind or another.
What does it mean to
Of
all these things
both sides of that. Female and male coaches.
aren't for me, they just leave home.
Right. And yet, I mean, at least what I got in football was terrible for your health. As long as you were maintaining that high functioning sports mindset, the amount of calories you ate were great. But as soon as you stopped working that hard, you had to learn how to stop eating so much. And your body was still hungry. All the time hungry. It didn't teach you how to properly maintain yourself, how to have a proper diet. And I'm not talking about fads of, this diet or that diet. I'm talking about actually proper nutrition where you don't have to have a diet. It's just the way you eat. That would have been way more important in grade school. Do you have any idea how much damage that did psychologically? I'm sorry, that just threw everything. Cry? That gym teacher would have been lucky to keep their genitals, and I don't care which side. Yeah, like little Albert all over again. It's not even just harsh, that's illegal. That was a destruction of private property. Let alone doing it to a child. What, kindergarten, so 5, 6 years old. And this is a school system that's supposed to teach you how to deal with your bullies. What do you do when the bully's the teacher? Because that's what that fucking was. Jesus. Well, let's hope it wasn't somebody had passed at them. Here, Grandma's ashes in your Cheerios. They're frosted now. Oh my God, see, and that's the problem with me as a kid. I had so much pent up anger. I probably would have gone nuts on that teacher. I would have bought another one out of spite and brought it the next day. Probably. But yeah, I mean that's where I've always gone is I hate abuses of power ever since I was a child. Oh, that is so cute. I think I've seen quite a lot like that in different styles. I'm sorry. If I was your parent and that happened, I would have made that freaking gym teacher buy another one. But did you get another banana bunny plushie? Right? That's super cute. It makes me think of was it the bunny that used to hang out with Hello Kitty? That had the pink tutu? Yeah, banana plushie. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Look at the psychological damage it did. You know, you didn't even want another one. And that right there just shows the psychological trauma, the damage. And we dealt with it, you know, we would have dealt with it in exact opposite ways. I would have bought another one and brought it to school the next day. Even if I had to steal it. Or I would have found the pieces and stitched it back together just to make the teacher rip it again. You don't break me. Ask my parents. You might beat the crap out of me. You might put me in the dirt. You might just whatever, but you will never break me. That is just something, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but that really pissed me off, that story. Not because, and don't blame yourself. Don't even say sorry. I want you to know that that was wrong. It should have never happened to you. And that teacher needed more than just being fired. It was illegal. It was destruction of private property. You know, I mean, I am all for teachers having boundaries and doing things, you know, making sure that the students listen and learn. But you do not freaking destroy a kid's property. You do not violate a kid's privacy. You know, these stupid cleared backpacks. Like, you're teaching the wrong lesson. You're literally creating a kid that is going to be more likely to deal damage because you're taking away everything that they have. They have no inner core that's them. You're forcing them to display it throughout the whole world. You know, I mean, some kid with a secret crush on a girl or guy. And with that plastic backpack see-through, it's going to be seen all the places. Why? Why not make me upset? Like, I mean, to me personally, it doesn't really affect me. Right, we have to hear it now. And I want to hear it. But, you know, I had teachers that... Yes, tell us, please. Oh, I know that feeling. That sounds about right. I think I was in third or fourth when my ability with math. Well, yeah, he was too stupid to teach. You know, that's the thing is that a lot of these teachers don't understand that the kids that act out or the kids that are bored are more often too smart for what's going on. Right? See, that's what you do, XO. I have a story that is amazing. I wasn't kicked out of school. It's amazing not only was I not kicked out of school, but charges weren't pressed. So I think it was my freshman year of high school. And we were sitting in class, and one of the kids was being unruly. And the teacher grabbed something off the desk and threw it. And I was in the way. I managed to take it off the dome, and it managed to be a piece of chalk. I managed to whip out my hand, catch it, and throw it at it. Because he hit me with chalk. So it bounced off his noggin. So he picked up the next thing on his desk and threw it at me. I grabbed and threw it back, like in one motion. Just what I didn't know is that it was a pair of scissors that I buried into his thigh. Not oops, I didn't feel bad about it at all. He's the one that threw it. He threw a pair of scissors at me. He just watched me take a piece of chalk off the dome, catch it before it hit the ground, and hit him with it. So he decides to throw scissors at me. So I got in-house suspension for the rest of the year, and they had a new substitute teacher. And from what I understand, that guy retired from substitute teaching. Serves him right. Oh, it would have killed me. If I knew now, or if I knew then what I know now, your damn Skippy, I would have pressed charges. He tried to kill me. But this was before, cameras were in classrooms, so I had no proof other than the students. If I hadn't had such a good name around school, I probably would have been expelled, and they probably wouldn't have believed that he threw the scissors first. But because every student stuck up for me, and every student literally told the same story. I mean, I was the one to call the office and call 911 from the classroom phone. And then I was the one to start using the first aid kit and treating him. Well, he's screaming like a little bitch at me because I threw scissors at him. It took all of my restraint not to bounce his freaking head off the floor several times until he shut up. But I already figured I was in enough damage. I was in enough trouble, and I was really expecting the cops. He never pressed charges. I didn't really think that I could have pressed charges because the scissors never actually hit me. Hell, I don't even know how I threw the scissors where they ended up blade first into his thigh. I really don't. I'm also really lucky I didn't nick anything more dangerous than just some muscle tissue. Saw him a couple years later, he still kind of walked with a limp. Like, and that's one of the biggest problems I have with schooling in general. We forget that these are kids. We need to treat them, we treat them like kids. Yes, they are children, but you need to teach them like they're adults in waiting. Give them consequences to their actions. Make them aware of the consequences to their actions. Let them know that there really is, right now we baby them too much. And I'm not talking about, corporal punishment or anything like that. That's not what I mean. I mean, kids are getting passed in school that shouldn't get passed. And we're not holding schools responsible for their actual job, which is educating. Right now they're just adult daycares, and college is getting to that point too. And it's not fair to anyone involved. Teachers, students, and the people that are going to have to deal with those people later on. They're supposed to know a certain amount of stuff, and now they don't. How could you sit there and look at it and go, not my problem? It was your job. You failed the future. Good job. The world we have today is because teachers failed the future. The very fact that somebody like Trump could even get elected is the fault of our education system. And it's sad to say that he was probably the lesser of two evils. As evil as that bastard is, he was probably the lesser of them. Because at least you know what he's doing. He can't help himself. He has to keep his mouth open, and he's got to tell you everything that he's going to do. You look back at Biden, you didn't realize what was happening until it was too late. Not only that, but they ridiculed people saying, it's like, oh, you're taking away my First Amendment rights. It wasn't the masks. I mean, look back. YouTube censored the word COVID. I mean, people are still afraid of saying COVID too much. Why? Because it was censored. Why? Why would YouTube care? Because the government made them care. That's actually been proven because I think it was Twitter at the time pointed out that there was literally government liaisons telling them that they had to suppress certain information. Why? Was it actually fake news? Maybe. But I think the American people should have been able to make their minds up for themselves. This is somebody that actually did get the vaccine. I actually took it. I did do my job. I did what I was supposed to. Have you seen the pictures of his parents, Rando? I don't think they gave two wits about what they brought into this world. I mean, the fact that Trump looks more like his mom than his dad is hilarious for being the manly man he is. I'm not trying to make fun of him. I mean, I know some people really like to. I don't really care. Because we haven't had a good president in decades. In decades. And the ones that you think were good, most likely were the more rotten of them all. That's why I call Trump the lesser of two evils. True. But I'm not talking about Trump himself. I'm talking about the fact that the American people elected him. We elected a reality TV star as president. We elected a person that couldn't make casinos profitable. But I have honestly no idea what Kamala Harris would have done. But I knew I couldn't trust her, so I didn't vote. I didn't like either candidate. I had no choices. And I would rather not vote than vote for somebody, than the lesser of two evils that I didn't know enough about Kamala. And what I knew of Trump, I saw what he did his first term. But I also saw what happened during Biden's term. like literally knowing what I know about disease vectors and stuff like that, everything he did, the separation and all of that, literally extended the disease. Keeping people in confined spaces together who actually had the disease is guaranteed to make it more virulent. It was literally what fueled the mutations. Sequestering people in your own home. So the disease was forced to mutate to try and hop to a new host. That's why we had so many different variants so quickly. It should have never happened. You know, the fact that Trump put Fauci up on, or did he? Was that Biden, or I don't remember who put Fauci up. But now we can track Fauci to actually funding the research in Wuhan that literally caused the virus. You know, the lab leak. It's ridiculous. If you want to really look into it, you can track where that disease came from. You can track who funded it and why it was being done. I mean, when our own CIA, FBI, whoever it was, Fauci had come with a research proposal. And they literally looked at him and said, "What are you, crazy?" From what I understand. I mean, I know this sounds like a conspiracy theory, but this has been recently released. Now, is it trustworthy? I don't know. But Fauci seemed to have a whole lot of information on the disease that we had never seen before. It lines up in my head. It makes sense to me that he was the one that was researching it, because he had a whole lot more information on it than anybody else. You know, especially with WHO, with CDC, you know, but he's the one that knew everything. Something ain't right about it. You know, but also something isn't right about fast tracking vaccines that you have no idea what the long-term effects are going to be, and we won't know for another few years minimum. You know, right now we're just starting to see it, and who knows, maybe some of these other illnesses we're seeing creep up are odd side effects or weakening in our immune system. Yeah, because here's a little hint, Nine Tails. I survived the first coronavirus outbreak. It was called SARS. There you go, right there. You know, we don't really know. That sounds accurate to me. That sounds like something that would happen because we didn't really pay attention. I don't think Ebola's ravaging through Texas, is it? Please don't, you know, if that's a joke, let us know, Green Jeans, because that does, you know, because I know Ebola's serious business. Oh, and it did in the 2000s. Okay. Well, right now we have explosive diarrhea going through. Oh, shoot. Yeah, it is. It's time to wrap it up. Maybe. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up for tonight because I know most of you have stuff to do tomorrow. I hope you all have a good night. Hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Green Jeans, I don't even want to think about implosive diarrhea. Good night.